So Sybill, this is a type of cooking that's for people food. It's not for kitties, but it's good. I have crescent rolls and nuts and more nuts I'm gonna squish. And over here near you, what do you think? Over here I have pears and apples. And pears and apples are good for people, not kitties, but they hurt my mouth when I eat them just plain. So I have to cut them. You wanna come help me? Pretty soon I'm gonna need you to taste test my finger after I touch butter to make sure it's safe and not poison. Because I know that's your favorite thing. I'm gonna cook with butter. I need some of your loving purrs to get ready. What do you think? Is it good? You're not sure yet? I guess I have to cook it first. Okay, let's get cooking. I love you, kitty. Meow. Love you, Sybill. You good girl. Chop. Little butter in each cup. And then I have to make sure the butter's not poison. I forgot that step. Oh no. So I'm gonna put a little bit on my finger. Hey, Sybill. Can you help me? Yeah, is this butter good or is it poison? Is it good licks? I hope it's good licks. Does it taste good? What do you think? What if you lick it up high? Is it good? Ah, good up. Yeah, was it good? I like when you sit up like a bunny. What do you think? Is it poison or is it okay? Ah, good enough for seconds? All right, that's good enough for me. Thank you, Sybill. Okay, so I was able to use my hands and body enough to stand a little bit today, which I'm doing now, to go to the grocery store in the neighborhood, to get my prescriptions over at the pharmacy, and apparently not to use tripod because it's not readily accessible and I don't feel like hurting my body. And okay. I don't know if I'm gonna need one of these. I have no idea. I know it says to like push with a spoon, but I like to just twist it open. I like to hear it go pop. Let's see if I can do that. Pop! See, I did it. Okay. That's good. The recipe says to lay it out and chop into chunks, and you use mini muffin cups. I'm not doing that shit. So I'm using big ones and making big amounts of everything, because why the fuck not? La-di-da-di-da-da-ba. Ba-da-ba-da. I don't know how I'm going to chop all these apples and pears. That's going to suck. But let me warm up my chopping hand a little bit by pretending that I care about measurements for just a minute. We'll see how this goes. All right. Thank you for giving me strength, Sybill. I will try to put a little bit of dough in each of those cups. I never measure anything, but I took one of those chunks and I decided to try to do this in case I feel like inventing it again or whatever. Make kind of a square shape, and I'm just going to wrangle it until it makes kind of a pointy circle. And I'll put it there. Pointy circle is a new thing I just invented. I'm allowed to. Ta-da! Pointy circle. Pointy circle goes in the thing, and I'm going to try to squish it. Yay, I learned I can turn around my video. Okay, so here's how I'm making a pointy circle. The last one I made didn't go to the bottom of the cup. It just did that, and I kind of want to experiment and see if that makes food. I think all of this will make food. All I really care about is food going in my belly. Okay, so I tried doing this for a minute, you know, where you go back and forth all fancy like. That didn't work. My hands don't usually work very well anyway. I was sort of thinking about videos I've seen of making fry bread or bannock in indigenous cultures, because it is Indigenous Peoples Day. But I'm only a teeny tiny bit in Native American, which is a legacy of all of the colonial bullshit and genocide and bad shit that happens, because I come from mostly the white people on my mom's side. And there's some problematic history of the white people taking on things from other people's culture while also wiping out the people of that culture. And I've been part of that too, which sucks. So today I'm learning, and one of the ways I've been learning is watching natives react videos. The username's Patrick is Navajo. Patrick and some of his buddies come on the show and talk about native culture. They do it in a funny way with memes and stuff, which I think is pretty awesome. And I have now learned through the show how important fry bread, which I've had before, it's a lot like what I know as fried dough, but better, and how important to making fry bread the bluebird flour bag is in some parts, especially in Dene, known as Navajo Nation earlier. Okay, this is as good as it's getting. This Pillsbury dough shit is different than regular dough, apparently. And I never bake, so it's just going to go in the cups. Anyway, when I started this, I had an image in my head of like these like skillful motions I saw like the grandmas in this thing and the mamas doing in these videos where they're like da 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 da, boom, done. Kind of like cooking roti, which is kind of like a naan, and you can cook it over just like a hot burner. But apparently I don't have the skills. And apparently if I'm not born with the skills or master them instantly, I'll never have them. That's my brain has been telling me. Anyway, so moving on and just winging it with the regular measure of bullshit that I love to live life by. Here we go. I'm going to try to fill these cups in less than an hour. Okay, this is taking forever because my hands have disabilities, and that's what I get. So in the meantime, I'm going to talk about the breakthrough I had today. So this can be a little triggering. Fast forward this one if you have trauma, mental illness, autism, disability related, or any other trauma stuff getting you down, because it's about being down and how I don't have to be as down anymore because I'm finally dealing with some bullshit in my life. I'm wearing scrubs now because they were the clean clothes and the comfy clothes available. I'm on medical leave from my job at the hospital, which I've been enjoying overall, but struggling with some parts of. And I finally realized a whole bunch of stuff in my life related to having the disabilities I have. I know I'm autistic. I know I have muscle spasms. I know I've got a whole bunch of other stuff. Long-term depression, a lot of PTSD, a lot of anxiety, all the regular fun stuff that so many of us have and meds help with, but they only go so far. So I've been dealing with that and doing a billion doctor's appointments to deal with intense muscle spasm and breathing and sleep issues. After a couple days basically in bed all day, I'm good enough now to talk enough to make a video, to do errands and to cook. And I'm used to seizing those moments or forcing those moments so much that I burn out and trash my body and mind, and then have an epic fail. I need to be in bed basically all day on my CPAP, sleeping as much as possible, and can't really do much else. So it's nice to have a breakthrough. What I had today refers a little bit to IFS therapy, internal family systems therapy. And I'll mention it briefly, but it's just like a great framework that's helping me and is also super research-based and kind of like the newest incarnation of old stuff that we've known a long time, has worked a long time, but this new version's slightly improved. And it's wonderful. Okay, dropping the phone, as my hands are wont to do. You know what? I'm not going to make these pretty anymore. I'm just going to do it. All right, internal family systems. Good therapy version. It's a way of thinking about the parts of your mind and way of existing and your beliefs so that you can both accept that they're all part of you and separate them and separate yourself from them when you need to, enough to like process them and look at them factually and objectively enough to do something. So for me, for a long time, ooh, that's working. Yay. I've had a lot of built-in, very much implicit bias, ableism. Not that I really think about other people as less with their disabilities, although there's some of that I've got to work on, just like everybody. Just like internalized racism, because I'm a person with some privilege who's benefited from the nasty, hateful system, I've got some internalized bias I've got to work on. Same thing here. I function well enough in a lot of ways and pass as neurotypical and can do some physical tasks that, especially when I'm struggling with these things and go back and forth between doing well and passing and being normal and healthy, so to speak, and the times when I'm not, I've had this thing in my head of like, the good times are good, the bad times are bad, and somehow it's my fault that I have bad times when I do. And some of that is that with my conditions, I can influence them. When I do good habits, it makes things easier to deal with and sometimes lessen symptoms. When I do bad habits or burn myself out, things get harder. So there's a lot of thinking about good and bad. There's a lot of thinking of like healthy and unhealthy, and a lot of value on that. That's not always helpful. So I'm working on that. And I was thinking today about the times in my life where I've regretted, like, oh, dang, did I really just do that? Dang, did I really just say that? And like we all do. But I realized so much of my life has been moment after moment of that without much break from it in between. And if I'm really getting honest, I started realizing, yeah, I've been different my whole life. I've had these difficulties my whole life. I really haven't had a break between them, and I don't know if I ever will. And I started, just kind of wrapping my brain around that thing that I cognitively know, and I know is okay, and I know there's no shame or fault or badness in disability, and even the way I'm talking now is full of ableist thinking that I'm going to be working on the rest of my life. But I started thinking about, oh, dang, I've missed out on a lot. I'm mourning a lot, but I'm also regretful a lot. And I get hard on myself for the times where I cry at the drop of a hat and can't really stop that. Or the times where I misunderstand things extra because I'm going through sensory overload and I can't really stop that. And I started realizing that the way I think about myself and describe myself to others and kind of talk to myself, that internal monologue we all have, isn't just negative, but kind of hateful. And I would never think that I hate myself. I don't want to hate myself. But it became apparent, kind of like, well, I've been learning a lot about digging up racism that's in my life because I'm a white person, and there's the kind we all think about, like the intentional, obvious, like, I choose to hate this person and do something terrible, like use the N-word or pay someone more or less because of their color or their skin or whatever. But the more sneaky kind that kills just as many people, if not more, especially now that we all know racism bad. We all should know that. Apparently we're still fighting Nazis, which is terrifying. The sneaky kind is built into society and all the systems, but it's also been part of my training, and it's built into my mind because I'm a white person, because I'm benefiting from the system. I have to remember the moral reasons and empathy reasons and logic reasons to be like, wait, is what I'm doing helping the racism or fighting the racism? Is this choice lifting people up or separating people? Is this choice empowering or demoralizing? And you have to think about it to dig it up. Okay, so implicit bias, we all know what that is. I've got that in terms of ableism, and I've been finding it more and identifying it more when I talk and think about others over the years. But now I have to do that for myself as well. And I not just need to give myself a break, you got disabilities, relax. It's not your fault. It's the disability's fault. But also think about it not as a negative. I always think about how I have autistic superpowers. I'm really good at teaching anyone anything. I'm really good at finding a way to communicate across language barriers. Really good at making art. I'm really good at some marketing things and learning things and advocacy things or whatever. I'm good at some things, but so low in other abilities. Everyone's got good and bad skills, strengths and weaknesses, but autism means strong strengths, weak weaknesses. Back and forth. Even though I have some strong strengths, my weak weaknesses have caused enough trouble in my life that I've felt really terrible about them. And shame and embarrassment and guilt and such, but also just Lauren, why are you like this? Or, I hate that this is always a problem for me. I hate feeling this way. I hate that I did that. That is hate. That is bias. That is ableism. And just like I realized, about abuse, I'm God's daughter. No one should treat me that way. No one should abuse me. I'm God's daughter. I'm a valid human. I shouldn't talk about myself that way either. Okay, it took 6 minutes and such. And that is fine that it took that long. And I normally would be like, it took me forever. My stupid hands don't work. But nope, it's okay it took that long. I put dough in things. I'll probably make another pan, but right now I want to see how much I can get chopped before my arms are not able to chop anymore. All right, progress. This looks the same. That looks the same. I chopped some things, some pears and an apple. Mixed in some honey and a little bit of apple cider vinegar, like a splash, so it won't turn all brown. Even though I'm gonna cook it, and it's gonna turn brown. And then my hands kind of suck. So my wonderful roommate, who is off screen and wonderful, is going to hammer, because it's hammer time. If they had a hammer, they would hammer out the nuts. And that is the plan. Wish us luck. This is the hammering, and I hear that Joss Whedon's super fun time musical, whatever the fuck it's called, during the writer's strike, people will have a joke for me about hammering. Yay.
Yeah, Captain Hammer would have something to say related to hammering nuts.
Okay, cool. I've been known to hammer nuts, but not in a way that's pleasant for people, so this is the good way. They'll end up with food in our bellies. Yay! If I had a hammer, I'd hammer all the truck nuts. I'd hammer them so flat, they couldn't be nuts. I'd hammer all of them, and then do it again. I don't know. The song's really about civil rights. I feel like really wrong making jokes. Okay, so while Alex hammers nuts, and I'm contemplating the difficulty of putting dough in things again, realizing I may have more than 2 pans worth of this. Dang it. I also just learned Alex's car is Betty, and I asked if I could be Veronica's driver, and I got a thumbs up. I feel very loved.
It's gonna be wild.
It's gonna be so wild. And all this because Sybill's a pet superstar online.
Well, is she gonna be featured in this video?
She was for part of it. It counts.
Okay.
I like that sound.
Money shot.
I feel like a porn video of your father.
Yep.
Yep. I can do that if nothing else works.
Oh, jeez. Well then, I guess I have to make this happen.
Yep. Call him the fluffer. Close up.
Jeez.
Technical difficulties. There's no shame. It happens to everyone. Cool. Speaking of which, I still have to pay attention to my dad made a porno. Mom and dad.
My dad wrote a porno.
That's it. I like how
you do not want to get. You don't want to get that name wrong.
Yeah, I don't want to see it either way. What? No.
I feel cheated.
Sacrilege! I think you just have to put your finger. Watch me do it real quick now that you've prepped it.
No way. No, I'm not giving this up.
Oh, Excalibur. It will only open for the one that is destined.
Frig.
What the fuck? Do we have to call it Ragnarok? What the hell? Wait. Oh, you're gonna cheat.
There's no cheating.
Alex is using cheat codes. Tension World, my roommate, who I thought was holy and good.
Yeah, this bread will be holy.
Is being influenced by Crowley. Going to the dark side. Oppa! I did it. I did. I'm part
You
of it.
see, we're humans. We succeed by using tools.
I guess. Bam! I did it. And we discussed Shakespeare, Liechtenstein. What is art? Theft of art. Does it count as artistic action if I'm taking a photo and choosing how to compose it like this, or this, or this, if it's of someone else's painting? Hello, Sybill. This is a Sybill fan video where Alex and I are doing all the heavy lifting. What do you think? I know I brought rectangle into your face. What do you think? You want to come? We're having roommate time. We're talking about art and Shakespeare and why on Earth Shakespeare is taught all the time. Yeah, I love you. You're a good kitty. Recipe is put the oven on before you forget at 350. I put dough, cheese, fruit, nuts, cheese. Yay. Since the muffin dough thing, the crescent roll dough doesn't come all the way up, I'm hoping the cheese, as it melts, will kind of hold things together. I guess I could make like little pie things and put more dough on top, but I think I'm done with dough. My hands are done with dough. Maybe I'll put a tiny bit more cheese. I think that's where it's gonna go. And then all the extra bits are gonna go here. Yay. Yes, Sybill kitty. Such a good kitty. Thank you for coming out to check on us. So sweet. Now I'm putting things in the oven and soon we're gonna smell melty cheese and a little bit of sweet. We have pears and apples, which are bad for kitties. We have bread and cheese, very bad for kitties. Oh, thank you for good licks. Oh, I love you too. Thank you for kisses. Thank you for looking at rectangles sometimes too. Rectangle loves you. Yeah, the electric rectangle's out. Yeah. Oh, good kisses. Oh, Sybill want to come up? Oh, we're going to do that later, I guess. Yeah? You want to come up for a kiss? Oh, so cute. Thank you. We'll do our treat tricks later tonight. Oh, I love you, baby. Thank you for keeping me company. Thank you for cuddles this weekend. I was in so much pain. I didn't want to do anything. I was crying and I couldn't sleep. And you made it better. My legs were twitchy and restless, and you made that better too. Yeah, bless you. You're sneezing less today, but you're still sneezing. I'm worried about you. I love you, baby. Good kitty. Yeah, go investigate the mystery under the fridge. Yeah. Part of how I make life work is I do the dishes as I go. So the stuff is assembled, still preheating, but I'm gonna pop it in the oven. I'm gonna double check how long. I'm gonna wash the dishes. Got a couple dishes here. And I think that's it. I think that's it. Yay. Sybill just gave me kisses, and that was really nice. So now I'm in happy catland moment in my brain. Yay! Oven says hello. Cool. I'm gonna do this. Bye. Another part of how I make this work for me is I put the heat-resistant gloves on top of the stove the second I put things in the oven, because if I don't, I won't have that extra cue to be like, you need to wear these before you go in here. So, recipe, I'm gonna hit some buttons, hopefully the right buttons, wear these things, and get some goodness. What do you think, good kitty? Think it's a good idea? Oh, thank you for visiting me. Oh, you're so pretty. Such a nice girl. Do you smell that I was touching cheese? Those are the best kind of licks. Yeah, best licks in the world. I love you. After cooking, should I come to bed? You want me to rest and have cuddles? Usually by this point in time, you're yelling at me to go to bed. We went to bed late last night, though. Maybe it's not time yet. What would you like, Sybill? Do you want to do some hunting? Do you want scritches? Do you want cuddles? Do you want pats? You just want chirpy purr time? Yeah. I love you, baby. You good girl. And I forgot to set the timer. So it's been about 10 minutes. I'm gonna do 7 more and then see how it looks. Yay! Oh, I didn't share my revelation that I was gonna share in the video about the therapy stuff I figured out. Thank you very much. So basically, internal family systems, you think of the parts of your brain as the cognitive part, like the manager, the firefighters who protect you from harm and rescue you from danger, like those safety walls you put up, and then the wounded, damaged parts of you that I, of course, don't have. And we don't have to worry about it. Don't look over there. It doesn't exist. Don't worry. The firefighters are like, nah, don't worry about it. We got this. So I figured out part of why I've had so much firefighter is because, like, the shamey, guilty feelings I've had are not just a little bit of shamey, guilty mourning and some ableism built in, but, like, I have hate for some parts of myself and I don't want to. And I've always thought of hate as like this, like, I hate that person, I hate that type of person, or whatever. But I guess just like with built-in bias, that I understand how, like, you become more anti-racist, but I have to become anti-ableist. And also just be nice to myself. So I had to think about, like, I'm losing the words. I found it before.
Well, that's what the editing's for.
Yeah, I guess. I don't want to edit anything. That's a new decision of mine. I edit nothing. Nothing.
Oh man, this is gonna tank your stats.
I don't care. And that's the point. I need to not care so much about, like, well, I mean, not like I care anyway, like a YouTube-y, what people think of me, but how I think of myself. And so I'm not really seeing other people's disabilities as negatives, but I do see my own as really negative, partly because I pass really well to some extent, which is its own thing. And I can function pretty well when I, like, grit my teeth and do all that stuff, but it's actually not functioning well. It's more just, like, masking really well. And I think of those times as, like, I did good things. And other times when I'm having a hard time, I was like, I did poorly. And that is not at all legitimate. And when I'm kind to myself, that is good things. And when I'm not kind to myself, that is bad things. And that's what I've been missing. So it seems very obvious. And cognitively, I've said this to other people for years. But to realize it for myself and admit that I was doing it wrong is important.
Just imagine if you start to say something negative about yourself. What would you do if I went to you with that exact same complaint about myself?
Lawrencezilla. I would be like, don't do that. I like Alex. Be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what if someone did that to Sybill, who's also a roommate here? Sybill, if someone were being mean to you, I would tell them, don't be mean. Roommate time. Very cautiously. I know, electric rectangle's still on, so you're shy. If someone were mean to you, I would tell them not to do that because it's mean. And you're beautiful, Sybill. And yeah, we love you. And you're worthy of love. And even though you're shy, which is kind of like your equivalent of my disabilities, and you get scared all the time and you have trauma, kind of like me, you're fine. I love you. And we'll figure out the details as we go. Which is what I should say to myself. Thank you for supporting me, Alex. And thank you, Sybill. Sybill helped support me all weekend when I felt like garbage. I felt like garbage because I was figuring this out. And my body was feeling sad. And my body was in lots of pain. But you're good. Yeah, so anyway, figuring out more of that stuff is good.
Trying to figure out ways that I can offer you support and help that's not just, would you like to read these 12 books?
I know, right? And I'm torn between, I fall asleep when I'm reading, it hurts my arms, and I need to wear the CPAP, but if I wear the CPAP, I can't wear my glasses, but I kind of need my glasses, and I only really get like 5-10 minutes of reading time before my body is like, I can't do it, which is sad, but
How
also...
do you feel about audiobooks?
I like them sometimes, but usually I like creating stuff better, but yeah, I should be humble and accept the wisdom of others. I think that would be good.
I mean, you can
I also will
cases,
enjoy
do
it.
both simultaneously, depending on what you're creating.
Yeah, good call. I can do a lot of art with that. I think I'll work some in. I think it's the same defense thing where I've been like so afraid to look at some of this stuff because I'm like, oh no, if I really look at it, if I take away the firefighters and let my shields down, I will get so sad that I will be approaching suicidality and I don't want to go anywhere near it. So I'm going to run far, far away and have nothing sad. Yes, Sybill, we love you too. Let's go blinks. Sybill gave you slow blinks if you didn't see. Yeah, and now that I'm safer and okay, I can confront some of these things and admit that they're real, and that's important. Yeah, so I'm open to it. Let me start with one audiobook. And if I hate it, I'll just stop. Like I do with everything I forget anyway. I have so many half-read books. Nice people. Partly because I'm still processing the good stuff that I got out of it. But it's also such a sensory overload because everything I internalize, and this was a big thing in college, every little thing, I have so many associated thoughts and connections to other stuff, connects people, that it gets to be so overwhelming. I have to pause and meditate on it for a while and change task. That's part of why I worked in the greenhouse at like 2 a.m. when nobody else is up, because I had no one bugging me, no unexpected sounds. It was nice and humid and warm and comfy, which made my body not hurt as much. And I could just take a little walk and take care of the plants while thinking over what I was doing. It was good. Nice. I'm so glad I'm at medical leave right now. So now the oven's on preheat again because I opened the oven like this with the trusty glove and said, oh, the cheese is melted. We only had to melt the cheese. And the apples and pears are good. There's nothing that needs actual cooking. Let's take them out. Now Alex reminded me, dough. There's dough. So 5 more minutes. Success. I turned off the oven. Yep. Cheese melted. Seems to hold everything together. The bread puffed like bread is supposed to. And I like it raw anyway, so I don't really give a shit. Yay, food. 5-ish minutes is what the recipe said to wait before we eat it. Yay. I am in bed. I decide to try using iMovie and put all the things together, and it's like 30 minutes long already, so I'm gonna make this quick. I'm gonna pick up the food. I'm gonna try it. Hopefully it's good. I don't know. It looks like it's kind of a chunk of food. Yay, success. Wish me luck. That's unbelievably good. I forgot to put in things like cinnamon, cardamom, whatever spicy things. Alex doesn't really like spices, so that kind of worked out. Next time we'll add a little bit of something, but that's amazing. Thumbs up, it's a win. Sybill has sniffed, but she knows it's not for kitties. She'll come back soon and sniff some more, but yay.